Hi guys, welcome back. So we've got some teams out. England versus Fiji, Ireland versus Samoa. Final warm-up games for both these sides, and indeed Ireland actually named their World Cup squad on Monday. England have named their squad but have got some injuries, got some suspensions to deal with. It's definitely now or never for England. They need to put a performance together to actually show that they can do something in this World Cup, because they go straight up against Argentina in the pool, possibly their hardest game. The captain of this game, Courtney Law, said, "Don't give up on us," and as an England fan, I never give up hope, but certainly no expectation based on performance so far. So let's have a look at this England team. Can they put something together? Genge, Dan and Cole in the front row, and of course a lot of these combinations is just getting people game time, not really reacting to the situation, or they will be trying some things, some combinations as well. We've got George rested for this game, so Dan and Walker. The advantage they have on George is they're very athletic, they're explosive, they're younger, they don't have the experience. One positive for England so far has been the line out, the maul and the maul defence, to be fair. So can Dan and Walker keep that going? So a bit of pressure on those guys. Genge going as a vice-captain, their best loose head by miles. Cole's getting a start. Then Chesham gets a start, still coming back from that injury. So to expect a lot of him is probably too much, but England need a lot of him. So pretty tough situation there. Itoje goes again. Is there a danger of overplaying Itoje? I don't know. In the back row, Laws is the captain, and it is quite a good balance of back row. You've got Laws as the kind of the second row, back row captain there, great in the line out, can do everything, big tackler, big guy. Jack Willis is the specialist over the ball in the ruck, and Earl at number 8, who's the best attacker of all our back rows. In for the suspended Billy Vunipola. It's the way I would have had it, with Earl as the number 8. Talk of maybe Curry being a number 8, but he's still not back playing yet, although he is back in training, I think, or getting close. So this back row possibly as balanced as England can do. So can it do something? Can Chesham get back up to the pace he needs to? Big ask there. And can we get something explosive from those young hookers? Plenty of hope. Expectation not there, but give me something to really get excited about. These fans at Twickenham need something to cheer. There hasn't been a try from the backs for ages, we know that. Can they put something decent together in attack? And we have two creative halfbacks here. Mitchell straight in there. They need him to up the pace of the attack, because the ruck speed's been very slow for England, and that breaking threat hasn't been there either from Nye. So he needs to hit the ground running. He's had plenty of time in an England shirt now, just full stop. He shouldn't be too overawed by this situation. He's got a chance to become the starter, really. In for Van Poortvliet, but a big chance for him. Ford starting at 10. He's got a great passing range. That is his big strength, probably his main strength at the moment. I think his goal kicking is pretty good as well. And he's got England's most powerful centre pairing that they could possibly put out outside him. Tuolangi at 12, Lawrence at 13. Can they hit those big lines? When it's just one of those guys playing 12, then you kind of know where the big runner is. The advantage of 2 is they can both run a line, and then Ford can pick one, or you can have them on consecutive phases. So can they be used effectively? Because neither of these guys are natural ball players, I would say. The wings, very interesting. When May was announced, Johnny May's not even in the World Cup squad at the moment, but then we got the news that Anthony Watson is out of the World Cup, and that's pretty devastating, because he seemed to be destined to start on one wing, looking fairly sharp, so that's a biggie. But they could have called in Caden Murley if they were going to go for all-out attack, and kind of true to form, Borthwick, fairly conservative, has called in Johnny May. Experience to replace experience, so logical, but certainly not that exciting. And we know there's more news there in the back three of some injuries, some niggles to Elliot Daly and Henry Arundel. So England are really struggling in the back three. Is May the answer? I don't think so, to be honest. He's a great player who used to be amazing, burn people for pace. We haven't seen that for ages. I hope he can prove me wrong, but I am not holding out expectation. On the other wing, Max Malins gets a run. He needs some game time. Is he a particularly dangerous attacking winger? Not particularly, but he is a good ball player, very clever, very smart. So May and Malins could be very tidy. Can they actually create something in attack? That's what we need to see. Still not trying another fullback. We know Stewart's their first choice, but they haven't tried anyone else. Maybe they would have tried Watson or would have tried Arundel, but they had a niggle. So no, it's Stewart or nothing, to be honest. Stewart all the way. He's at 15. Then the bench there, Walker, Marler and Stewart. Still need to see some bigger things from Marler and Stewart, I think. Walker has all the potential. Is this the time he explodes for England? Could we need it? Ribbon's a very tidy second row replacing Nera. I think they could do with resting a Toje a bit, but with Chesham coming back from his injury, he probably replaces Chesham. Ludlam, possibly the best back row cover they have, they could put on the bench because he covers 6, 7 and 8 very comfortably and he always performs for England. Then the 3 Harlequins on the bench in the backs, Kerr, Smith, Marchant. So maybe when the game breaks up, they could come on and work something. So logically that makes sense, but we need to see a big performance from England against Fiji, who have been looking very, very dangerous. It's going to be nerve-wracking already, and it's not even the World Cup. Do you think this side has what it takes? And on to Ireland's last warm-up game. They're already in France, but the squad's not going to be announced till Monday, so certainly some pressure on these players. But the advantage they do have, and no disrespect to Romania and Tonga, but they are the easier of the games in their pool, and they have them first before their crunch games against South Africa and Scotland, so they can build up into it. But they would want to be a bit slicker than they have been, although they put away England very comfortably. So loads of changes, 12 changes from the last game, giving everyone a run, having a good look so Farrell can make his decisions. Maybe he left it late in the day to name his squad because he knew he had those 2 easier games as well in the pool. So Healy, very, very experienced loose head. I think they should take him for sure. Beelum at tight head, I think is a good contender to start over Tyg Furlong. If he has a good game here, I'd definitely go for that. Now, Stewart, the youngster at hooker, you'd think he probably hasn't got a chance because you've got Sheehan, Kelleher and Herring ahead of him, but Sheehan's got an injury that looks like he's going to be out of maybe all the pool matches. So do they not take Sheehan to the World Cup? Well, I think they take him and they try and get him fit because he's that influential. So maybe they take Sheehan, not to play in that pool, but they take 4 hookers. That could be something that happens. Let's see if Stewart shows up well here. Maybe they take 4 and hope they get through to the knockout stages and then Sheehan's available. They could, of course, bank on there being an injury in the pools and they can call Sheehan in, Pollard style, but I don't know if they want to take that risk. So watching for the hookers, Stewart still has a chance. Henderson is the captain, very experienced second row alongside a starter in Byrne, so a very good second row pairing. And in the back row, we know Van der Fleer's going, we know Doris is going. He will be my preferred starting 8, actually, Doris, even though Prendergast looked good last game. Baird at 6 is really interesting because he's a second row and he's a young second row, so he can play back row, and he's huge and he's athletic and he's scary. A really interesting option to change it up from Omani, maybe versus South Africa, someone like Baird, that extra size could come into play, so looking forward to see him there. Then the experienced Murray at 9, alongside Crowley, who doesn't have the experience, just needs to get time into the international scene, so him playing at 10, all eyes on him. McCloskey, another massive 12. They've already got Aki, and Aki will go. Will Farrell take both? So McCloskey definitely playing for his place. Henshaw can play 12 and 13, so McCloskey will be looking over his shoulder at Henshaw maybe. And in the backs, we've got the Centurion there, or over his century now, Keith Earls, who performed so well against England. Hansen, a starter on the wing as always. And they're trying a new fullback, which they need to do. Hugo Keenan's nailed on. Jimmy O'Brien's a very good all-round player. Does he have that cutting edge in attack? That's what I'm going to be watching for him. We mentioned Herring on the bench, Lockham and O'Toole as the other props. Then James Ryan and Omani, they're going on the plane anyway, or they're in France already, should I say. Casey, now if they take 4 hookers, they could skimp on some positions, maybe 2 scrum halves, 2 fly halves, so they're all still playing for places, as is Byrne, I think. Ringrose is going to go, he's on the bench if needed, could cover wing as well. O'Brien's very versatile, Henshaw could go 15, I guess. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of that Irish team, what you think of that English team, and I'll catch you next time.